Welcome back, folks. I'm me, Phil Terrell. You're watching part 14 of the Final Fantasy VIII Let's Play. So, Squall's tossing and turning here, because, you know, teenager. So, order has been established in Garden, and, you know, he's bored, and he's going to be stuck in his own thoughts, and one of the thoughts that he happens to be thinking about is how's Selphie doing, how's Quisa's doing, and Irvin doing, and, you know, was it wrong for him to let them go, and, you know, what do they think about it? And, you know, he wants to get even with Cypher. So, typical teenage year stuff. Anyways, so Rinoa's back, and she's going to want us, or I should say Squall, to take her out on a tour, date, to show her garden. And, you know, Squall's going to think that it's an order, but she doesn't want to make it an order. She just really wants him to take her out and about all around the garden for a tour date, and you know, just check out the view. So that's what we're gonna do. So in this segment, you can go visit the 6 sections, I guess technically 5 sections of the garden. Quad's not going to have any special little dialogue like you're going to see right here. What's over there? The parking lot. And over there, the cafeteria. Squall's very straightforward and blunt, and Rinoa wants to have like a fun, normal tour, and Squall's like, what do you even want from me? So if you go into the parking lot, Squall's just going to be like, it's just a parking lot. There's nothing special here. I really do like this dry, you know, blunt humor that Squall has going here for some of these sections. But the 5 sections, not counting the quad, if you go in there, you're going to have a little bit of special dialogue with Rinoa. And in between all these sections, I'm going to be playing cards with people. So when I go from the training center and all that to the library, actually I think from the training center to the library, and then, no, for the library, I'm going to be going to different, I'm just going to jump cut. So we're going to go to the training center. This also has another one of my favorite dialogues here, where Squall is just going to be, you can kind of tell that he's a little bit more excited because he talks more about the training center. But Rinoa is just going to kind of sort of be uninterested in a way. So he's like, want to try? And then Rinoa's like, I can imagine you doing this on a first date. You're so romantic. Very much not interested in Squall's hobbies. But fortunately, the library will probably be one of those things Rinoa will like. But Rinoa, being the book nerd, she really likes libraries. Can't blame her. I like libraries too. And she just wants to have a good old time in the library, seeing what the garden has to offer. I imagine her being a bookish type growing up. But there's one little point of interest in the library. If you go to the back, you'll meet the girl that was talking with Squall at the very beginning of the game after he got knocked out by Cypher. And we're going to have a little bit of an interaction here. And remember where she's at. She doesn't give her name, but remember where she's at, because we're going to have to visit her after, in the next part. Well, in the next part, not after the next part. So she apparently knows Squall, and she would be very heartbroken. Squall forgot about her, but Squall doesn't really know her, or maybe he just doesn't remember. And she even says it'd be nice to talk about the old times again. So who is this lady that knows Squall? And Squall, I guess, not want to push the subject even further, just decides, hey, I'm not going to talk about it. It's kind of weird. Now, if you talk to Dr. Kodawaki here, she'll say that, you know, Sid needs to go see her. And now I'm just going to jump cut to the library, because once you go visit the elevator, all these other cutscenes are no longer going to be available. And I really like having Zell. As I said, Zell and Rinoa tend to be my main party. But I like this because Zell wants to get hot dogs, and you can tell that by the time Zell gets up to the counter and orders his food, they have no hot dogs, as what Squall's saying there too. So he's kind of like monologuing or talking about what Zell's about to go through. Now, the lunch lady on the far left, if you haven't talked to her and get a little bit of her backstory, I would suggest doing that if you care about some little filler dialogue. Not really important, you don't really get anything for it, but if you care about some filler dialogue, talk to the lunch lady and listen to her whole story to the end. Now, the quad, there's really nothing to do here. You don't get any interaction between Rinoa and Squall as far as I know, or I haven't found any. But you can talk to all these students here, and they have some flavored dialogue where they're wondering where they're going to be going since the whole garden is now in the ocean. And some of them find it very peaceful, and some of them even wish they can go far, far away. And they probably are just taking this moment to probably reflect about all the chaos that just happened in the last part. So pretty interesting, but not very flavorful text between Squall and Rinoa. And then once we go to the next section, which is the infirmary, which you'll only get this dialogue if you haven't visited Dr. Kodawaki in the hallway. So you can have a little bit of a joking contest with Rinoa, saying that he's really her girlfriend, and he's like, I'm seriously joking. And it's kind of humorous to see Squall joking. But if you don't visit Dr. Kodawaki, she'll say here, hey, do you know where Headmaster Sid is? Can you let him know that I'm looking for him? And even if you don't talk to Dr. Kodawaki, your third party member, assuming that you brought Rinoa, your third party member will end up running into Dr. Kodawaki and telling Sid when we find him that Dr. Kodawaki was looking for him. Now, when you get to the elevator, the faculty member will tell you, hey, to go to the basement to go see the Garden Master. The Garden Master wants to see Squall. So we're going to go there. And then we are going to see an interaction between Sid and the Garden Master. And Zell, being Zell, is going to see us actually go down here. And he's going to join us because, why not? Zell is Squall's BFF, bestie, homie, whatever, friendship tag you want to throw to Zell and Squall. But anyways, it's one-sided for right now anyways. So one thing I would make sure you have Mug on one party member. Make sure that one party member has Draw, and if you want to add some elemental defense, you can equip Blizzara to your elemental defense, because the boss will use Blizzara. Zell, what are you guys doing down here? What? Oh, me? I came down because I saw you guys. And Sid and the Garden Master are going to have some very harsh language. Okay, Sid, language. And right now you can see that, it got very heated. Even Sid is losing his temper. He's getting thrown around. And, he's having a little bit of regret, it looks like. And he doesn't realize that we're right behind him, and we just heard majority of everything he just said. So that's pretty fantastic. And yes, we heard everything he said. And Sid's very embarrassed, and so he's going to decide to retreat and say, hey, we should probably go ahead and go back upstairs. Squall's going to be like, hey, I still got to give you my report, sir. Ever the soldier. And Sid's like, I'll catch you later in my office, you can let me know. And Rinoa's going to remind Squall about Dr. Kodawaki. If you didn't go visit Dr. Kodawaki, then Zell will let him know about Dr. Kodawaki, or your third party member if you're using a different trio of characters, or different other two characters. Squall has to be here. So the faculty member is going to say, hey, the Guard Master is waiting for you, go see him, and we're going to see what kind of person this Garden Master NORG is. And we're going to find out he's not a very charming person. He's very, how shall we say, very demanding. As you can see there. He's inside of this giant metallic structure, and he's also not human, so that's a bit of a surprise. So Squall's a little bit surprised that this is the proprietor of the garden, and he didn't even know anything about him, and of course he's not even human, so it's kind of a shock. And he's also a hologram because he's glitching out my visual mods, and he wants our report on the sorceress. And to be truthfully honest, I get a little bit of a chuckle right here because Squall's going to be like, we failed to assassinate the sorceress. And internally he's like, this is going to be a sad report. I don't know why. It's just one of those things that make me chuckle. I just imagine this internal Squall look-alikes like, this is going to be pretty bad. So Squall's going to break the bad news that they failed from their orders from Galbaldi and Balamb Garden. And NORG is going to be like, you are fooled. The faculty is going to say that, well, the faculty and NORG are going to say that Martine actually works for NORG, and he's really a subordinate of NORG, and that NORG's known all this time about the sorceress and garden, and it's about to be made clear how he really knows this. Because really, how would you know that Idea is kind of really closely connected to the garden? So Norg's worried that she's going to seize all the garden, or I guess all of the gardens. And based on that information, Norg decided to send an order to go Voldia Garden to off Idea, and they decided that assassination was the best means, and Martine gave the order as if it was from Balamb to backstab Norg, and he just so happened to use Squall in his party because they were at the right place at the right time. And since the operation failed and Idea is still alive, well, she decided to do the rational thing and retaliate, because, you know, who would not retaliate when something like that goes down? So she decided to send some missiles, and the missiles, of course, hit Trivia, and they were going to hit Balamb, but, you know, we took care of that. And to satisfy the sorceress's anger, well, Norg decided to, well, offer the seeds who decided to carry out this operation on a silver platter. And, you know, Squall's not too much of a fan about this. And what the heck was Zell doing? He's like about to stomp his foot, or he's about to just like dance? I don't know. So, the Garden Master mentioned something that Sid mentioned, and that makes him very mad and causes the faculty members to leave. And we will never, ever, ever see a faculty member ever again. And he's worried because all this stuff happened, that his garden is going to be destroyed. And Squall makes a mention that it's not just his garden. And he was the one who ordered the students to go find Sid and take him out. And, you know, I can't blame the students for wanting to do this, because tuition rates are a pain. And we just find out that Idea and Sid are married. And so this is why Idea is very closely related to the garden. She's married to the headmaster of Balamb Garden, and that's a bit of a bombshell right there. And because Norg can't get it wrapped through his mind that garden's not just his, he decides to fight us for it. So we're going to have to fight Norg. Norg's not a very big, scary boss. And there's two phases to Norg. So first, we have to destroy the Ray Dome, and that will force him to open up the cockpit, and then we can... Wait a minute, this isn't Metal Gear. Anyways, enough of that joke. So Norg is going to be in this pod, the Norg pod, and the left pod and the right pod will change colors, and when it turns to red, like Norg said, he will use powerful magic. Now, each of the two orbs will have magic, or not magic, items is still very good items, as a matter of fact. The left orb, as you saw there, I stole some magic ups. The right side will have spirit ups, which are very good items that will permanently increase your base attack, or base magic, or base spirit. So you want to steal these. And as long as the orbs are not red, this phase, he won't be able to attack you. So you can steal until you need, and then once you steal, go ahead and start destroying the Norg pod in the middle. And it's really just a waiting game until you're ready. So you can, you know, prepare with your magic. You can cast, protect, shell, whatever you want, or steal until you get your items that you want. And then afterwards, go ahead and attack the middle. Now, magic will not do anything to these pods on the left or right. You have to attack with physical attacks. Now, the left pod will use magic like Bio, Fire, Thundara, and Tornado. Now, Tornado is a very scary spell because Tornado is a very powerful wind magic that hits everybody for a lot of damage. Now, you can avoid that by just hitting the pod or the left pod, and then you don't have to worry about it. The right pod will use the spell Silence and Slow, so it's more of a status magic pod. And if you're really good at this, you can keep a balance between the left and the right being blue, and laying on the hurt on Norg in the middle. So after you deal a bit of damage to the pod in the middle, it will explode, and then Norg will pop out, as we're about to see here. Now, once we get Norg out, go to his, use draw on Norg, get Leviathan from Norg. Leviathan is a guardian force that is very good, in my opinion. I like it really much. I love Leviathan. He's one of my favorite summons. Hey, trophy. So we're gonna go and get Leviathan, and then we're gonna start doing damage to Norg. Now, Norg. An interesting thing about Norg is if you don't draw Leviathan, he will have access to the water spell. And once you draw out Leviathan, he will lose access to that water spell. So that's a nice attention to detail. I like that. Now, Norg has a circlet that you can steal, which is a lot better than Wizard Stones in my opinion, because a circlet will teach magic 20% to a Guardian Force, whereas Wizard Stones, you can get Wizard Stones relatively easy once you get to level 30, and the magic you get from those stones you can get from other places, in my opinion. So you can go in and draw life from the pods or Sunyas or whatever. Now Norg does have a pretty dangerous attack called Psycho Blast, which you'll see here is going to half Squall's attack. Now I don't know if that actually halves his attack, his HP, or if it just so happened to do exactly half. But one thing about Norg is, unfortunately for him, he hit Squall with that, and so Squall, is within limit break status. So if you just spam the refresh command on Squall, or I'm about to, he can use Renzo Kuken, and Renzo Kuken will always hit Norg 6 times. So his animation will never change. There's going to be a unique animation to Norg, and it's one of the more neater ones. I really like it. So really nice. You get him hit 6 times instead of like 4 or 5. So I think the most you can hit an enemy is like 8, I think. So that's kind of neat. Now, after that, you just really well on Norg. He's not very much of a danger if you can keep those especially the like left pod in check. I think it's the left or the right. I think it's the right pod in check. You see there? That was a horrible Renzo Kuken for me. I only did it twice. But you see there, it was a very unique one. He jumps right in front of Norg and just starts slicing and dicing him. Now Norg can cast Silence, which can be a problem. But there's also Insunia in his magic pull, or one of the pod's magic pulls. So that's kind of nice. And if you really want, you can really just not worry about Silence on Zell. Really, I could just leave him alone. We're going to use Renzo Kuken again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that was on the pod. So unfortunately, I goofed that part up. So let's go ahead and cure Zell of Silence for whatever reason. And we're going to go ahead and just keep a balance of keeping the pods blue, and you'll have no problems. Now, Norg doesn't have any curative magic other than Insunia, so if you want to restore your HP, you're going to have to use your own magic pull or items to do that. So we'll try another Renzo Kuken, and we'll kind of get almost, no, we didn't even get perfect. Nowhere close. We got half the Renzo Kukens. So he's going to Psycho Blast me again. It's going to hit Squall, but Protect is going to half the damage. So we're down to 340. I'm going to decide that's kind of dangerous at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and cast Cure. Get Squall up. So now we're just going to do the good old just slugfest with normal attacks. But otherwise, Norg's not a giant threat. He's pretty easy. And then since we have the spell available from one of the pods, you could really get rid of the protection statuses he puts, like Shell or Protect. But with that, we already beat him. And he's going to decide to... We don't really kill Norg, which is very interesting. He doesn't explode per Final Fantasy logic. But he does leave us with 20 AP. And if you did not steal a circlet, you will get some Wizard Stones. Now, the party will be reeling from the information that was all said. And Squall is going to be like, hey, let's just forget what just happened. And honestly, I'm with Rinoa on this one. It isn't exactly something to ignore with all the information that was just dropped on us. And Norg has kind of wrapped himself in an egg or cocoon. And at this point, we'll never, ever, ever have any more interaction with Norg. He might be mentioned once or twice in a dialogue or two, especially if we go to Shumi Village. But otherwise, it's kind of a wasted character. I really wish they would have done more with Norg, you know, after this egg or cocoon hatches. There is a bio draw point here if you want to use it, but I'm not going to do that. And another nice attention to detail, that the hatch that exploded off is actually on the floor in front of the pod, so that's another nice attention to detail. Now Leviathan, Let me talk a little bit about Leviathan before we get too far, and then we have to quit. Leviathan, in my opinion, is a really good Guardian Force. I think it's one of the better Guardian Forces because you could you have potential to get Spirit bonus, which is one good thing. You can make a person have very high magic defense, but then also Leviathan also has the command Recover, and Recover is a command, not a magic, that will restore your restore a character to full HP. So it's a very good ability in my opinion. But I still prioritize Spirit bonus, and then I go after Recover, and then after I go after the refined abilities, and then whatever Leviathan learns after that is whatever Leviathan learns. He is a water summon, and one of the few ways that we can inflict water damage outside of water, dispel water. So pretty neat. It's also the summon that was in the Pizza Hut demo that I referenced probably in part 3 or 2, I think. Pretty cool. And ever since then, I really love Leviathan. Leviathan, even though he's not my favorite summon, he's one of my... He's not my favorite summon, he's one of my at least top 3. So, with that, we're done. I'll catch you on the next part, folks. Later, and bye.